This week's Parsha begins, Parshat Tetzaveh et Bnei Yisrael. And the usage of the word V'ata in reference to Moshe is indicative of the very famous point of the fact that Moshe's name does not appear in the entirety of Parshat Tetzaveh. And this is the first Parsha since Moshe has come on the scene in the beginning of Sefer Shemot, where Moshe's name is not mentioned. And it's the last Parsha in the Torah where Moshe's name is not mentioned. It's the only Parsha where his name is not mentioned. Famously, explanation given by the Baal HaTurim is that Moshe said that if God would not forgive the Jewish people, he said, Mecheni na mi sifrecha, you should wipe me out of your book. And so the klala of a Talmud Chacham, a tzaddik, cannot go unfulfilled, and therefore was fulfilled on some level. Moshe's name was left out of Parshat Tetzaveh. The Baal HaTurim has another explanation. He says that this parsha is about kahuna, so it's about Aaron, it's not about Moshe, and therefore Moshe's name is left out. And there are many remazim that support this idea. Rav Avadia Yosef famously said that Moshe said, Mecheni na mi sifrecha, the Chaf, 20th parsha in the Torah, Parshat Tetzaveh, Moshe's name is left out. The Gra pointed out that the parsha usually falls around Zayin Adar, which is Friday of this week's parsha, and Moshe, of course, passed away then, and that's why his name isn't mentioned in the parsha. I think it's interesting to point out, though, that even though Moshe's name is not mentioned, he is very much highlighted in the beginning of the parsha. As we read the first word, V'ata Tetzaveh Bnei Yisrael, the very beginning of the second parak of the parsha, 3 psukim in, V'ata hakrei v'lecha et Aaron achicha, and then V'ata tedaber el kol chachmei lev. Moshe is referred to again and again, but V'ata, not with his name Moshe. The Zohar has a very famous, important statement about this usage of V'ata in reference to Moshe. The Zohar says that Dafka here, where Moshe is referred to V'ata, we have revealed some of the greatest razim, secrets, in the Torah in its entirety. So we come back to the question. It's a parsha of great depth. A parsha when we're going to refer to Moshe again and again, but not mention his name. Why is that? So I'd like to return to the second pshat of the Baal HaTurim. Moshe isn't mentioned because the parsha is about kahuna, the parsha is about Aaron. He attributes this to the fact that Moshe refused initially the complete shlichut and therefore he was being punished, but I think we can take it a step further. And that is that Moshe's name isn't mentioned in the parsha because the parsha is about something else, about someone else, about a different goal, about a different purpose. And this is something that's often hard for us to see. We are very focused and naturally attuned to our purposes and our potential. And this is, of course, very important. But we need to be appreciative of the fact that there are other missions that need to be fulfilled, and other people who need to fulfill those missions. In this parsha, that's the kahuna and Aaron. And sometimes we're able to see that. We're able to say, okay, that's not me, that's somebody else. I wish him luck. But that isn't the complete recognition and open-mindedness we need to have. Because we need to recognize not only that there are other missions that need to be fulfilled by other people, but that sometimes we have a role to play, a facilitating role, of telling the Chachmei Lev, or Aaron, or Bnei Yisrael what they need to do to build the Mishkan and the wearing of the begadim, or the crushing of the oil. To know that there are other purposes that need to be fulfilled by other people, that we have a role to play, but not as the main character, not as the one who's going to be focused on or even named. And that is a great secret that the Zohar tells us is revealed specifically through Parshat Tetzaveh. Shabbat Shalom.